Yeah, especially when it's too early there, and especially it's on a Sunday, so
Yeah.
people will still be resting. I mean, tonight, well, here, uh, it's bonfire night to some of the some most places in the UK, where we actually during the year there are there we celebrate basically fireworks twice. So one is bonfire night, and the other one is New Year's Eve.
Is that like a national holiday or something?
Well,
Or
yeah, the the funny story, because bonfire night basically they are celebrating the attempt of the Catholic Church to overthrow or to basically to overthrow the monarchy back then by blasting the parliament.
yeah.
So yeah, they're celebrating it. So they managed to thwart. They call it the Guy Fawkes Day. All right. Okay. So right.
I'm sending out the links at the moment.
Right. Good evening, everybody. Okay. Good morning in the Philippines. This is Guru Tom Pena for FMA Discussion, episode 218. Together with me is Guru Joseph of the Rapido Realismo, Cali.
Morning from the Philippines.
Well,
got the name right this time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be an interview between Joseph and Adrian, but Doc Adrian has work to do, so they won't be able to join us to this time. But so we are going to do two separate interviews for them. So so guys, if you're watching this live interview with Joseph, please say where you're watching from. Hit the like button and the love button, the heart button. And if you got any questions for Joseph or with regards to RRK in general, please put it in the comment section or comment us. Okay. Yeah, I'm basically like sharing it now as well. Okay, so how are you doing? How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing okay. Currently in Laguna right now, taking a break from Makati. The traffic's coming back slowly, so yeah. And the weather is really hot recently, which is weird for November. So.
Oh, really?
Hot. Yeah, it's really hot.
Yeah, like how hot? Is it like April hot, March hot?
It's like getting there. It's very close.
Oh, wow. You don't have any training today in
there is some training in Luneta today, but sadly I won't be able to make it. I'm all the way in Laguna today, which are really sad I'm going to miss. But there's also an RK instructor here in Laguna, and maybe I can hop on his training this afternoon. So we'll see. But I'm excited I'm always excited to train. So hopefully, I really hate missing the chance to. But
oh, okay. Well, at least you got a group there as well.
Yeah.
In Laguna. Yeah. Okay. We've done your test run, but it was like about two weeks? 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
2.5. That's
2.5. All right. Okay, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the sake of those who are watching us this time, let's have a quick recap of your martial arts journey. Whether you've gone through traditional martial arts first before FMA, or the other way around, or jump straight to FMA, take it away.
Right. So my first experience from first experience of FMA was like a lot of people here in the Philippines through high school, right? But they don't really, depending which school, I think, because every school is a bit different. But where I went, they just taught like 12 strikes, of whatever system, which they didn't really mention at all, and we just had to do those 12 strikes with a partner in order to pass that class. And that was basically it. That was my first experience with FMA, and everyone there was very clumsy, right? Wielding the stick, no one had a clue what was going on, but we had to do 12 strikes, and we did it. That's basically it. So I wasn't very fond of it, because that's all we did, was that we just need to pass the class, right? So
yeah, for the purpose of giving our viewers clarity. Okay, so you learned it in high school as part of your physical education, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we need to
add some context
we need to explain this a little bit to our listeners, because I mean, I know still in some places, like for example in the States, they still, or even in the Europe, they still see FMA as something as not well practiced in the Philippines. I mean, yeah, there were videos who came out before wherein you ask Filipinos what is Kali, what is Arnis, they don't know what Arnis is. You ask Eskrima, they don't know what Eskrima is. But I think over the years, because of the introduction of Filipino martial arts, or Kali or Arnis or Eskrima, as part of the physical education program in the Philippines, generation like yours already basically know what Arnis is, at least the basics. So,
well, the thing is there, I think it's just louder overseas, right, in social media. It's talking about social media, it's just louder, right? FMA is louder in social media from overseas. That's the only reason why I can think why you don't see online content as much compared to other countries. But since FMA's a lot of FMA started as like family systems and all that, they really want to keep it in the family. And like from what I heard, there's a lot of stuff that is still not out in public.
Oh yeah, definitely,
right?
definitely. You got a lot of minor styles that are still not out in the public.
So exactly. So that's not going to be on social media, right? So
no.
To say that they don't practice here, where that martial art came from, since there's so many flavors, of course there's also people want to unify, some people don't, right? So there's a whole thing about it. But to say that, in the beginning when I started practicing, I thought exactly the same thing as well. Like, why don't I see this more out in public, right? But it depends where you go. Like if you go to Luneta, some places in Cebu, there's a place in Quezon City as well that people practice out in public, right? It's just the other sports sell better here, right? Like Taekwondo, karate, because the kids will have belts, they have trophies, because it's more of a sport. Right? The parents want their kids to have medals, trophies from the sport, right?
Yeah.
Most FMA is not sport oriented. Of course, there is. We have PCAF now, right? We just have WCAF. So those are the sports aspect of FMA, right? The anyo, the dancing, performing, the art part, right? So it's there, just not there in social media. So much as,
that's true. Yeah.
So but a lot of people has experienced the FMA in schools, but not every school participates with that sport. They don't have like a team that participates in the sport. I think if more schools had that, I think you'll see a rise in social media presence here. So because not everyone's happy with the formats. No matter what format there's going to be, there's always going to be some argument there. But but that's it. It's just who's louder, I think, at the moment. But it's very, very present. Almost anywhere you go, you're going to find, if you really look, but sometimes you really have to look depending on what province you are in, right? So it really depends.
Yeah, it's true. But at least in the past, like, few decades, I mean, Arnis has already been part of like the physical education program of some schools.
I think within this last decade,
especially this last decade,
they added it as the national sport, right?
Yeah.
So
because of the Republic Act.
Yeah. I think because of that, that's why.
Yeah, because I mean, before moving here to the UK, I was a faculty, a professor in UP Diliman, and we did offer it in the PE program as well.
Yeah.
So it has been also like introduced to the schools, but of course, you have to regulate the way you teach it to students, especially to high school, and more so if you're basically teaching it to elementary or primary students. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they'd want to teach kids like knives and stuff like that.
No, they won't. Right. That's why, I mean, when you learn it in high school or in the primary or elementary school, it's really just going to be basic, and most of the time the platform is going to be kind of like sports oriented. So they're basically hoping to be able to entice the students to get into like competitions, whether it is going to be sparring competition or forms or annual competition,
or they're just doing some choreographed thing that's more like dance.
Yeah, or like a group calisthenic or something. Yeah.
Exactly. You see a lot of videos of that online, and people teach how to do that because it's very common in the physical education classes here. Like I did an interview recently, like last month, with Master Henry. So where we were, there's some kids that showed up behind us that were practicing for their physical education class, even though we're doing online classes right now because the whole pandemic, right? They're still there. Like they have to send a video or something of them doing it. So it's still present, which I'm really happy about. But hopefully there can be more of more practical as well. Not only just sports, not only maybe fitness, right? There can be maybe some basic self-defense but I think there used to be that in like ROTC and stuff like that. But I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if it's there anymore because I'm not sure if they made it mandatory again, ROTC for.
Well, they have removed it, but I'm not sure if they're bringing it back. I mean, they removed it after, I think, shortly after I left. So they first basically gave you a choice between doing military training or community service, I think, or something to do with policing or something.
There was a term for the community service part, but to give some context, like the ROTC is like reservice, right? You become like a reserve or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's something that happens to the Philippines. There's a lot of reserves. That's how it used to be, right? You can still apply even though you're not, during schools as much.
Yeah, during my time, that's the way it went. So basically, you do your basic training for the first 2 years of your university schools, and then that's it. I did my advance. Although I didn't become a cadet, I didn't become a cadet officer. I did my advance, just an NCO.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how much they teach there, but I think they do teach a bit. I think it's more of basic training there. I mean, it always depends on who the resource person is. Yeah, because of course, sometimes you have to play with if you got the budget to be able to pay an outside source, or basically do it in house. If someone knows.
Someone knows. So that's how it always goes. Okay. Anyway, before we carry on, so we've got Bernard Mendoza from the Philippines. Yes, he's a good friend of mine. You've got Brett Reese from Kentucky. Hi, Brett. And then we got Mark Gallardo, Moico, which you might, yeah. Good evening, good morning in the Philippines, Pugay. Yeah, Bernard said the National Service Training Program is the replacement for the ROTC.
All right. Good morning, guys. Morning, Bernard. Hi, Brett. Hi, Mark. Mark's one of our guys from RK as well.
Ah, okay. All right.
And, so yeah, Bernard, National. Oh, I didn't know the NSTP there. So it's
yeah. That's a new name. That's a new name. Yeah. Okay. So I cut you off when. Sorry for doing that. So you basically start learning. You start becoming learning Filipino martial arts when you were in high school. And then what happened next?
What happened next? I didn't really get into martial arts after that because it wasn't a great stepping stone. That what I learned from that. I'm not sure how many, like a week or two. Either 12 strikes in a week or two. So it wasn't a very good stepping stone. It wasn't very inspirational. So yeah, because my main sport back then was basketball, which was the most popular sport in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And it's not played the same way everywhere at all. Like, to me, it was a combat sport.
Oh, yes.
It is a combat sport. Like, there's some videos online. I mean, if anyone wants the link, I can send you the links. There's some people. I got hurt a lot more in basketball than in FMA. My entire FMA career, just elbows to the throat, and there's a bunch of other stuff. It's a combat sport, especially if money's on the line. If money's on the line, forget it. You're not, and you can't call a foul. There's no such thing as a foul because they think that you're not, man enough or stuff like that. Right?
We should say that's full contact basketball.
Yeah, so it's basically grappling with clinch fighting. It's like clinch fighting, but you're protecting the ball as well. So it's not have your back to your opponent a lot. So it's thank you, Bernard. No blood, no foul. That's correct, Bernard. Even there's blood, you don't want to call the foul because the whole ego thing.
Yeah.
It still is a combat sport because I also spent 6 years in Iloilo during my elementary days.
All right.
So I stood out a lot there because there wasn't a lot of people that that looked like the locals much. Even though I'm Filipino, right? So the fouls were extra hard on me. the non-fouls, So So that to me that was my first combat sport, right? And I think some of the footwork did help a lot when I started doing FMA, like a lot. But you don't have your back to someone in FMA as much, right? So that's a big difference. So from there, when I get ready back here in Makati, I was a high school classmate of mine was training in Makati in Legazpi Park. So he was at my place and he said he had to go. And he told my dad and I, like, we asked where he's going. He's like, going to the park to train some Kali. And so my dad and I went with him, and then we can ask if we can join to just take a look at what Kali is, because my dad did a little bit of martial arts back then as well. So we took a look at the park, and we saw my classmate's dad as well was there, and he was training under Tuhan Kit Asenas. Back then, he wasn't Tuhan Kit; he was in a different rank. But we're training at Legazpi. Yeah, small world. Like it's very small. Yeah. So we're training in the park. So he allowed us to join. We were doing, I think we did a lot of knife. Like it's very. Kit likes to do a lot of foreign-based stuff, which he liked doing, like the classical bikini, which is great stuff. But at that time, I didn't really appreciate it because I didn't see the functionality of forms, right? It's like a choreographed thing. It doesn't feel realistic. So at that time, I did not at all appreciate it as much as I appreciate it now. Like right now, like there's little lessons I find in it, and there's a lot of stuff there, but you just need to have the patience. So I don't believe in teaching forms right away in my school.
Okay.
But it really depends on the student and their goals and but he has a lot of great stuff too. Okay, check him out. Kalimundo in Makati. All right. So we started there. We did a lot of knife and a little bit of stick, and then I wasn't really happy with the whole forms thing, so I didn't really continue much. And then until I did a bit, then we had the family friend who is a Guru Jozef Henri, who was an RK instructor. So that was my introduction to RK. And I specifically approached him for knife stuff. I don't want to do anything to do with stick because I didn't find it practical, right? A lot of people say you don't really carry stick around and stuff like that, right? You can't conceal it like a knife, maybe the baton, right? The retractable baton, maybe. But I'm not really going to carry one of those around, or I'm not even going to carry a knife because the law is here. But practicality, the knife is a lot more dominant than the stick. So I was like, I'm just here for a knife from Guru Jozef Henri. So from there, I was, it was really a mix of like fitness and FMA training, because Guru Jozef is also trained sometimes to Coast Guards. I'm not sure if it's just the Coast Guard's reserves or Coast Guards as well, but I think it's the Coast Guard reserves. So so he does a lot of kettlebell. We did a lot of kettlebell swings, push-ups, running around, and all that. Like for example, if I'll be training, doing some stick stuff with him, right back then it was knife stuff. Someone else would be like swinging a kettlebell or doing push-ups on the side. So you can still have that one-on-one and a group at the same time. So the group can be doing exercise while he gets one by one. Right. Yeah. So that was a great thing. Because I think, I strongly believe like fitness is also a big part of combat sports. Right. If you're not fit, it's kind of
of course,
right? It's kind of, even no matter how good you are, and if the guy is in better shape, if you're gassed out in the first few seconds, the guy can still continue, right? So,
even if you have the skill sets, if you don't have the stamina, that's it.
If you take the guy out in one shot, that's a big if there, right? If you take him out in one shot, maybe you don't need the stamina, but are you confident enough you can do that? And you're not always getting that as well, right? So there's a big if. So from there, so we did a lot of knife stuff. Then he started introducing the stick. So when he started introducing the stick, I'm like, what is this? Like, I take the stick, I was like so flimsy with it. Like, so how I explain it to some of my students, like it's like an extra limb, right? It's like an extra limb. See, like you have an extra joint here, and then you have an extra limb. So I felt so clumsy. I didn't really enjoy it at all because I did see the practical part about it. So from there, I gotta focus more on the stick, because as I was using the stick more, my knife play was getting a lot better. Right, my knife work was getting better. My countering faster. I could see the lines better, because you can't see the lines better because it's slower. Stick is slower. It's a bigger object. Since it's slower, you can see the lines better. Since it's slower, you can see since it's longer, you can see the trajectory better as well, right? Then if you translate that to knife, so that's why I think that's why in FMA, a lot of FMA systems, not all, they start with the longer weapon, like the stick, then they move on to the knife, then the hand. So maybe you can read some of the lines, right? Of course, some of the lines are not the same because the length is different, but it's pretty similar, right? There's a similarity where it slows things down and you can absorb things better. So I started training the stick a lot. So I was doing like 40 to 60 hours of training, even just the solo training, just to get my stick work up, because I didn't like the feeling of being clumsy at all. I didn't like it at all. And I want to get better with a knife, because we were doing some drills with a knife where if you, like, semi-sparring drill, where if you get tagged with a knife or, you know, cut or stab, you're going to do 10 push-ups per hit. That's per hit. So at the end of the day, you can be doing 200 something, right? And then some of the students like, oh, like, I'm doing way too many push-ups. I can't go to work tomorrow. So, like, can I do squats instead? So that was my goal, to get them to do from push-ups to change their exercise. That was my goal. I want them to be able to change their exercise, which is, you know, beneficial for both of us. So, and the more push-ups you do, the harder it is to let
definitely.
So that's the fun part. So from there, I went. Then I guess I haven't met any of the senior instructors yet, aside from Guru Jozef and Guru Joji from RK, because that was RK Makati, right? So the RK Makati started from there, because there was RK Makati in the past, so it restarted when I started in Makati. So yeah, then I think Guru Isagani Abon visited us a few times as well. So, but he didn't teach. He was just showing some stuff. Like, did a demo with his double stick, which is really fun to watch, and the way he moves is so fun, right? Because he treats his double stick. He prefers treating his double stick like single stick techniques. Maybe I'll show some bit of that later.
Okay.
Right, so he treats it like single stick, so you can really see it how it translates also to the knife and other stuff as well. So it's really fun to watch. So Guru Jozef and Guru Joji really always trying to get him to come. He's coming from really far away, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, I think Gani's from Navotas. Is it? Yeah.
So yeah, I'll talk more about Guru Gani in a bit. So so he visited a few times. Then I went to Luneta a bit after that, because I was planning to take an exam, because in our day we have level 1 to 10 instead of belts. We don't really have belts and stuff like that. So level 1 to 10, it's more of our curriculum. It's more of the knowledge, right? It doesn't really show much of skill, right? Of course, in every exam we have some sparring as well. Like at the end of the exam we have sparring, but the level is just to make sure everyone knows the same thing. Because in the past we didn't have a curriculum. So if one person calls this thing one thing, everyone's confused, right? So we just to share knowledge, right? It's also like a quality control as well.
Yeah, so, it's a good way to have quality control when you get rankings. Yeah,
but it's not. It's not really about. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't really say how good you are as a fighter. That's a different thing. We don't have ranking for that. We just fight. Right? It's about knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to teach the system, we encourage.
Yes.
You take the levels, because
that's true.
That's where the knowledge is. Like, not all of it is in the curriculum at the moment. We're planning on doing a revision, but it's a great curriculum. I'm really happy about it and how it's progressive. So big credit to our training director, Guru Isagani Abon, and our general secretary, Guru Adrian Kidlat. So you'll have him on. You can ask him all about the curriculum on his interview. All right, so from there, I went to Luneta, and I was training a bit with Guru Gani, who was feeding me 4 corners, which is 4 strikes, and then you have to counter it with double stick. I have a video of that somewhere online. Maybe we can share that next time. And I would look so awkward. I was like, I'm looking back, because most of my double stick back then was from Pikiti. My experience with double stick. I hardly had any training with sticks at all from RK when I first went to Luneta. So a lot of so it's very different on how they teach the double stick, especially from what I learned were mainly forms, right? So it's a bit different when, especially Guru Gani is a lot more into combatives and practical application. He likes blending. He likes being able to apply the traditional arts in a modern setting. So he was really throwing the sticks out there sometimes. So of course, since I was new, he wasn't really, going that fast and that hard, but most of the stuff I was applying was what they would do in Kiri, from what I learned from doing Kit. So I just looking back, I hated watching that video, but I'm really happy to see my progress, how I am right now. So
Well,
it's really
everybody
great.
goes through progress.
Yeah, but it's just awkward, like very awkward.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, I just don't like the feeling. Like I know I just don't like the feeling. Yeah, I really want the fluidity because there's some really great arcane instructors like that I haven't trained with yet, like uh, Guru Jomar. Jomar Obejas. Jomar Obejas. I sparred against him. I had an event. I usually try to hold monthly event sparring gatherings here in Makati.
Yeah.
So he joined the last one, which sadly a lot of people canceled because they were just they just announced the lockdown the next day.
Oh no, I see.
So it was really
that's a shame.
Yeah, so I got the spar against it, but not really. We were fully around most of the time because we just did some hand targeting and stuff. But yeah, I haven't like did any full contact sparring, so I really hope I get to have a chance in the future because, as I mentioned, fluidity, Guru Chomar. A lot of people when they talk about Guru Chomar, if you could see some of his videos online, he's like the way he just moves is just crazy. So a lot of people call him like a master of movement because he just looks so fluid, right? So
yeah,
I did
and effortless.
Yeah, I did an interview with Adrian where he talked about because he was his first arcane instructor, Guru Chomar. He'll speak about it during his interview, but just the way he moves, right? I've only seen it online, and I'm really very impressed because when a lot of people talk about RK, usually the big names come like, of course, Master Henri Elefant, and there's Gorgani, our training director. And there's Guru Chomar, right? So
I see. Okay.
So usually those guys are the really big names.
So how big is how big is the sparring as part of RRK?
Well, I think that was a question by Elric, right?
Yeah, that was a question by Elric. Yeah.
Elric did this. Big shout out to Elric. And yeah, Elric also did some training under Master Henri as well in the 90s. So yeah, he really got a great look of how Master Henri was. So if you have any questions about that, you can send him a message as well. I think you'll learn a lot about Master Henri back then and deep base, the core systems of RK. So sparring wise, especially in the main group in Luneto, right? We try to incorporate that as much as possible. Like our training director Gorgani really wants practical application, right? He wants you to be able to apply the stuff, and the only way to find out is either pressure testing, like we're a drill focused on that, or you have to spar with it.
Okay.
Right, so it depends. He's really good at gauging your level, like if you're ready to spar or like how intense you need it. And like sometimes he'll tell someone else like, "Oh, go hard and do this specific thing against this guy, so that he can work this without him knowing." So I seen him do it a few times. I'm sure he wasn't trying to make everyone see that, but he is really good at really gauging that. So he's really focusing on that practical application. Like he wants you to be able to use it because what's the point if you can, depending on your goals, of course. If your goals is to fight, you need to be able to, right? So he wants to get everyone at a certain level. He wants people to achieve their goal, right? So that's the whole point, in my opinion. That's the whole point of RK is to, if you're there for whatever reason, you need to be able to hit that goal, which most of the time you can hit that through sparring and pressure testing, right? If we're talking about the goals of self-defense or just FMA sparring, whichever. Right? If you want to learn the combat aspect of FMA. So yeah, sparring is very important. It really depends It really depends about it really depends on also the group, the RK group as well, depending on the head instructor of that group. Like
Okay.
where I where I teach in Makati, as much as possible after every class we do there should be some form of light sparring, or every private lesson we try to apply what you learned into that spar at the end, right? It can be light sparring, it can be just hand targeting, it can be as long as there's a bit of that, right?
That's good.
Also to get your cardio up as well, right? That'd be really good, right? So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it really depends on the RK group because I'll go back to Gori Zagani because since he's our training director, he had the group before in Navotas where it was really sparring centric, which was really application, street combatives. Everything was there. So that his RK group was the group he wanted to go to if he wanted to really fight.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So I think he's starting up that group again because of the pandemic. It's kind of a little down in how the groups are, rises and falls based on So so his group I haven't joined yet because it's very far from where I am, Makati, right? So I just mainly spar in Luneta, and I have a great story about that. First time I sparred, I think it was a few guys in RK. I didn't know what full contact meant, so I'm like, oh, you want to spar? And they're like, because that's the culture. You can just ask them if they want to spar or something, and then we'll spar, right? It's all then for the sake of learning, testing your progress, or whatever reason you have. Sloan, you're there to learn. You're not there to hurt them. Right? We're not there to hurt each other unless you speak about it beforehand. This is what the intensity I want. This is it. So the first time I did something like that, I didn't really understand what full contact was or some of the terms. So one of the guys was partying and said, full contact? I'm like, yeah, sure. I had no clue what it meant. So then next thing I know, I was being slammed on the floor, the concrete, and Luneta, the brick floor, right? So my head went directly into the concrete. Of course, then I put them in some blocks and we grappled a bit on the floor, and then until they separate us instead of up, right? So that was really fun. I enjoyed that so much. Really surprised. So, but it happened. Yeah. So some of the sparring gatherings I host, I really emphasize, especially to the new practitioners, because I get some guys as well, or who never did any martial art before. They just join in. It's all fun games, right? Sometimes, depending on the intensity. So I always tell them speak about the intensity first. What's your goals here and stuff like that. If you're sparring as a beginner, so if you're sparring against someone who's been practicing for a while, you can read that a bit, right? Really depends, but most of the time you can read that after usually someone swings first hit, bam, you see how fast or how hard they swing. Like, oh, then you're trying to match it, right? So really depends. So of course, there's a lot of respect that goes into it. You really want to have that. Just if it's for the sake of learning, especially for progress in your art or their art, and we're not here to kill each other.
Yeah.
Right? And that day we have to work. We have to work the next day, right?
Okay, so besides sparring, do you do any other pressure testing?
Pressure testing, a lot of the combatives. We do a lot of pressure testing for the combatives, and there's a lot of stuff we want to do more of. But there's a lot of gear here in the Philippines. If we want to do it safely, we want to.
That's the only thing. Yes.
We don't. It's not available here.
Right.
There's a lot of for example, those helmets with the grill. Those
you
get here.
You need to be able to get a safety gear that will allow you to at least have moderate to high impact type of pressure testing. Yeah, because otherwise, if you're the one who's wearing the gear and you only have a gear that is designed for light contact, then you once everything gets a little bit heavy, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer quite a lot inside. Yes.
And if that gear is available, it's all can fit one person, right? So that one person is just gonna can destroy the entire day, which
exactly. Yeah.
Right? We need to be able to switch out, and that's not really.
I mean, because I teach Saka here, Okay, so we do pressure testing, and we do have the suit, but the suit can only accommodate up to about moderate impact. Um, the moment basically the person has you on the ground and that's doing elbow on your head, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was disoriented at one point. So that's why like you need to have the proper gear, because otherwise you're gonna end up also with holding, which sometimes it doesn't go well with the practice. Okay, we got a comment here. We discussed this concept today, Dean. Different systems, and my instructor is under Richard Bustillo. So Kakoy based, and yet still has mind shared my thoughts and expressions that the style or system do not matter. Only the fact that you actually experience interaction to decide what works for you. Yeah, that's really true. That's really true. And sometimes you basically resonate to a particular system or a particular style. So yeah. So
The Yeah, coming off that, I think Elric had also another question about something similar to that, about why. Can you pull up one of his questions? I think something why some RKs spar differently, like something like that. So he had a question.
uh, I'm reading through his
I can pull up fast here.
what I've noticed different students of RK move differently and when sparring, is that it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can like based on Brett's comment, right? Decide what works for you. So that's a big thing. Why we move very differently in sparring, because RK is like when it started, it was just a mix of Realismo and more or best. So it was just a combination of that. And then throughout 24 years where RK is in existing, it's also the cumulative of its practitioners, right? Of not only Master Henry's experience with Spurgani and some of our senior instructors as well, and the practitioners. So of course that morphs over time, and why they spar differently as well, because we have such a vast number of stuff, right? We have the accumulation, right? So also what works for you, that aspect where Brett was talking about, that's what we really focus on. Of course, we still try the pressure test and try the stuff which doesn't work. We kind of find out why it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe it will work against this guy who's taller than me. It might not work against this guy's shorter or this guy's heavier, right? So it may work, right? And against certain thing, but of course you want to, if you're talking about self-defense, you want to narrow that down into, general, right? But if you're talking about sparring, right, you can learn the techniques how to fight someone bigger and smaller. So what works for you doesn't mean it will always work for you. You can work better against someone bigger, someone smaller. So there's a lot of play in RK which my interpretation would be, it's really focusing the practitioner's own fighting style, right? You're creating your own fighting style through RK system, right? So in my definition of system would be like a training methodology, principles, and other stuff like that, right? Style means the way you fight, and that changes every time you fight. It does not stay the same, right? No matter how you say, "Oh, I'm always fighting the same way," you never fight the same way twice, right? You might throw more. For example, if you use a boxing reference, you might throw more jabs this fight. The next fight, you could probably double amount of jabs or something, right? And not throw a single cross. So your fighting style even tweaks a tiny bit. It's never the same. Like every time you draw a picture, right? Sorry, draw something, paint something. You're not gonna paint every single
exactly the same,
detail, right?
Yeah.
There's maybe something off. You just painted from memory, right? If something's, especially if you're fighting, right? You have a bunch of variables coming at you at the same time, right? You're just going to, sometimes you're going to have to wing it or come up with something to fly, right? So it's always going to be different every time. So that's what I really like about RK. especially I really like teaching it to beginners because it's like when I'm learning, they don't have such long forms, and it's not a bad thing to have long forms, but in the early levels of RK, most of their single stick combination is just two strikes, right? And then because you're not going to pull off a 7-hit combination, not everything's going to go according to the scenario of the form, right? And because that's the part when you learn forms, you learn how to dissect it, right? Breaking the drill and all that. So I really like RK's system where, for me, it feels like building blocks. It's like Legos. You're putting it together to build a bigger whole. So in the early levels of RK, it's like that. Then we start introducing forms later on, which has a lot of our application in. This part of the form, someone does this is most likely what we're going to do. So it is, like, we have a lot of similarities, but with how we train, but how we fight may appear different based on what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Right. What we're trying to. So of course I don't think RK really wants a carbon copy of Master Henri. Right. That's not our goal here, because if you're just going to be a carbon copy, we're disregarding the art side. Martial arts.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, and we're not going to be a carbon copy if we're also looking at the practical side, because all our body structure is different. Our body mechanics are, everyone's body mechanics has similarities, but the way we move, right, my forearm bone can be longer, it can look different, right? So it's going to look different. It's not going to, we don't want to be like, I've seen some of the RK guys where sometimes they move, that guy looks exactly like Master Henri, how he moves. And that's great, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that, but you're not going to see someone in like 1:1 copy.
Yeah. Like carbon copy. Yeah.
I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Right,
okay. Let's backtrack a little bit, since we are basically getting more now into RRK. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be able to give our audience a brief description of what RRK is? Because I think we have done most of interviews like for PTK, for KI, for Lightning, for Jose Pares, Santos system. But what is RRK?
All right. First, it's a system made by Master Henri Elefant. So in the beginning, it was called Henri Elefant Mixed Style or something like that. And then Gurugani, which is a long-time student of Master Henri, came up with the name RK. So
which stands for
Rapido, Realismo, Kali. So they really want to emphasize realistic, practical application, right? Rapido means fast, Realismo realistic, Kali. I don't know why they use the term Kali, because I think one of the base systems is Kali's LSU, so maybe they took Kali from Kali. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Don't quote me there, but they picked that name for some reason. So it's a good name. I really like it. But so going back to the three base FMA systems has Kali's Illustrissimo. Master Henri trained with Tatang from 86 to 97, where he passed in 97. And he trained with Mang Andy Abiran, where he trained longer with Mang Andy, and then he trained only for a few weeks with Mang Juan. Sadly, I can't remember his last name, but he was known in Quiapo, I think, from Cebu. And so automatic arnis from Mang Juan. More or best from Andy Abiran, and Alice Illustrissimo from Tata. So those are the main weapon systems of Kali. But he trained longer with Moro or best in the row. And then the Kali's Illustrissimo 86 to 97, around 10, 11 years from that. So, and the difference he said was in Illustrissimo didn't have a lot of moves compared to Orobes, and he was learning almost at the same time the Orobes and the Kali's Illustrissimo, so they're like they're very different systems, so they're like contradicting, which is really fun. So in '97, he started, this para mix system, which is basically a combination of those two. So nothing of his own yet. Like he didn't really start adding his own flavors yet. Right. So in the beginning, that was just a mix before starting RK in '97. Then he added the automatic RDs under month 1. He also added this unboxing as well because he had a lot of jeepney driver friends. He was a jeepney driver, so he had a lot of friends that were boxers, and a lot of guys on the left as well. They were boxers. So he added a lot of boxing into RK as well. Like I think one of the big influences was Ernie Espinosa, where he has this system, where he has this thing where it's called his favorite thing to teach is the shete, which is on the shete means 7, where it's like a lot of trap going back to the corner, luring them in with jabs, and then turning them around. So the boxing is a bit different compared to Western boxing. You don't really. There's also some grabbing and some clinch work, right? So it's not really like Western boxing. And also Master Henri, if you've seen him do his empty hand, he does a lot of overhand straights and all that, which is just, it doesn't matter how you block it, right? Or if your guard's up, he's going to go either through down the middle, or it's going to, or if your arms are up to defend yourself, it's going to bring your arm down, opens it up, and right. So
so that's this reason for using the overhand.
Yeah, and not only that, power. There's a lot of power there, right? Overhand, and the way he changes levels as well, he tries to generate power there. So yeah, this empty hand, there's a lot of boxing influence there. And I just have to mention really quick his hooks. So how he teaches his hook, he starts out, and this thing was like this, and he turns his hand.
And he turns the arm,
and he turns the hand like this, right? That's how he just trains, like he starts warming up like that. But how he does his hook, he just, as he punches, and then he turns it this way. But it still hits you with the 2 knuckles. But he doesn't aim at you directly, so it feels like a straight is coming, right? So if he's aiming here to the side, right? Like a straight is coming, it snaps. So bam, we're like, you didn't see that coming. So again, it doesn't matter. You have your guard up. He's not aiming at you. He's aiming here, then boom, right? He snaps it. And I'm like, what? You don't see that coming at all. So it's just, that's why training at Master Henri, there's like angles you didn't know existed. So that's what, like especially uppercuts. I don't pull off a lot of uppercuts, and it's just, where is that coming from? It's like you think you know all the angles, right? And there's just stuff that it's like a lot of corkscrew movement, so you don't know where it's coming from. It's just really fun, and especially with a lot of more or best empty hand stuff. Like there's a lot of, if you're too focused on his hands, he really focused on positioning and getting you off balance, because that's what makes a lot of Andy taught, because he's really small. He really wants to get you off balance, because he can't really compete with the bigger guys if they're they're a lot bigger. So where he positions his knee is very important. Like you feel like suddenly there's something sticking next to you, which is his knee digging into your leg as he's punching you. So you're always going to be off balance. And if you get punched when you're off balance, most likely you're just going to fall over, right? So there's a lot of trapping there, a lot of trapping from the more or best, which is really fun. So also one of my goals is to learn the base systems by itself and not animation. So that's one of my goals, which I haven't had. I had a bit of a chance to, but not enough in my opinion. So yeah, so that's RK was just a mix of those just more and more, but now throughout the 24 years, it's a accumulation of all those experiences, right? Influences by all our instructors. I think also there's other questions where we got in the comments was how much of RK was made by Master Henri, his creation, and all that. So just tackle that real quick. There are a lot of just the way, of course, Master Henri learned. There's no curriculum. There's nothing, right? It's more problem solving. If I strike here, the solutions and all that. So there's no curriculum, right? So the RK has adapted. Of course, we're becoming more modern because you can't really teach that in a group setting, right?
Yeah,
So a lot of times in Luneta, when we're training, when Gurgani is handling the group class, Master Henry will just get one person and they train them about it. So a lot of times, right when the group training is about to start, I run into Master Henry and like, how do I do this, right? So I always ask about a topic. So again, referring to some of the questions was, sorry, I'm trying to blank out a bit. One of the questions was, how much of it is, can you learn those base systems alone from Master Henry, right? Which he will teach you, right? If you ask, right? You train with him one by one. You said, oh, I want to just learn the automatic RNE stuff, all right? Show me how to apply that. How do I do this more and more thing, right? So you can learn it separately, but if you learn it separately, that's not RK. That
yeah.
Art.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah,
that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of RK. Right? So it's fine if you do ask him to show you this stuff from his experiences and all that. There's a lot of knowledge there, and you'll definitely feel it. Like the best way to train with the RK instructors would be one-on-one. Because that's where you really get the feel. Even other systems as well, one-on-one. Because group is a different thing compared to one-on-one, but our group classes are also really great, depending on, of course, we have bunch of different RK groups. So I think there's something somewhere as well. You guys want to know more about that? You just maybe leave it in the comments later.
Yeah. Okay, so Dean said we are hoping Grandmaster Henry will come on.
Yeah, so we
one time, Joseph.
So yeah, we're planning maybe to have Master Henry, Gurgani, and myself on one episode, so that we
that will be great. Also,
I can help also translate for some of our viewers who, because I don't want to. I'd rather have Master Henry speak in Filipino, so he can really speak his mind, and Gurgani as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I can do some translation there.
That will be better, rather than using Google.
Yeah, I think I don't. There's no like text. There's no like subtitles that show up automatically. That technology.
Yes, please. I mean, please.
There's a bit of technology that can do that, but it's not good enough.
It's not accurate. Yeah, because I've spoken to GM Henry and Gani before about this. I think that was even early this year, but because of the condition with COVID and internet connection and everything, they're still hesitant to come on as a guest. But if you can facilitate it,
and work on it, maybe we're looking at next year.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So I'm really Master Henry definitely, when he comes on, he's going to demonstrate a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that.
Yeah. So I think, was this a demo? Is in order now? You wanted to start with your demo?
I just want to show because since we have the illustration side more and more and automatic RNEs, maybe we can show a bit of what those are, right?
Sure.
So you can see a bit of RK flavor.
Sure.
Right? So
I'm gonna lower myself down, so that means you won't be able to hear me, but I'll be able to hear you. So just let me know when to come back up, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Tom. All right, guys. So I'll just take out my earphones. You guys can still hear me. I hopefully say yes. All right, guys. So let's just talk about single stick first. All right. So let me move back a bit. So with the single stick, right, we have the Realismo side, more, and automatic RNEs. I just want to start off. Right, you can hear me. All right, so I want to start off with the automatic RNEs part. So that's the really distinctive part, because the stance is what you call this, lateral, right? We want to stay, we don't really have a foot that's a lot closer to our opponent, right? Or right, we don't have like much of a lead. We're more lateral this way. So it's more aligned. So we're doing a lot of mixing motions. So this one's called halong tabas. So tabas meaning horizontal a bit. We have tatpas, which is our diagonal, right? So horizontal and diagonal. So here the goal is we're a bit protruding our head a bit. So if I'm here, my head's protruding. So head's protruding a bit, and we're only covering the high line. So as we're only covering the high line, we're only protecting our head here. So we're keeping it close. So the footwork here is you're just going back and forth. So as we're mixing, covering our head, and we're going back and forth. So the St. Master Henry compared this a lot. It's similar to the armies in Payate Laguna, where they move a lot laterally. So here the basic footwork is just forward and back. So, but we move a lot laterally to really play with range and distance, right? So from here, if we're going to turn and switch our lead, now we're on the other side, right? So this is a basic drill we do. Is to just mix, covering the head, we turn, we're here. So either here we're going for the hand stick that's coming at us, then we can go for the head or body, right? So here then we can really extend, right? First we want to keep everything tight before we extend. So it's mainly a single stick system, right? Hydro marking from RK as well there. So so that's basically most of the automatic harness. So very lateral movement. I wish I had more space to show you guys where more of the stuff for automatic harness, but it's a lot of that mixing motion where you're mixing here and you're switching to that other side as well. So the mixing motion really covers and protects you a lot, especially with the baiting of the head forward. Right, so it's a stick system. So I think it's from Cebu, I'm not sure, but Master Henry learned it from Mang Juan. He was known in someone mentioned him from Quiapo. Yeah, from Quiapo. All right, let me move on to, for example, if you have the Illustrissimo side, there's a lot of, you really want to keep everything tight, right? So Master Henry always talks about make it simple, right? Move simple compound movements. So you always want to make sure everything's tight, right? You don't need a lot of power, right? You don't want swings like this because that's not only, right? If you run the generic power through stick, you can do a full swing like that. But we want to keep everything tight. So a lot of training, right? You try to keep something here between your armpit, make sure it does not fall. So that means your elbow is going to be around 1 fist away. So we try to keep that. We try to keep that principle intact, right? We want to keep everything tight, right? Since we keep everything tight and compact, we can really hit the hand, right? Especially if we're coming from largo to quarto, right? So long range to close range, you can really see how you bisect the lines through Illustrissimo, which is really fun, but it's mainly like a medio and quarto kind of thing, right? You start out as largo, but you want to finish the fight. You don't really have a lot of stick contact or blade contact. You try to avoid it at all costs. Okay? So if you really see when we train application for that, it's probably one carry on the stick, and then we are coming in and finishing. Right, we want to come in and finish. We don't want to hear a lot of click clacking, right? Because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to parry or trying to pass the hand, trying to land that hit at the same time, right? We want to really close the distance. We want to finish the fight. So that's the Illustrissimo side, and then the more our best side, right? So it's it focuses on high and low movements. So for example, I'm swinging, I'm parrying, I'm going high, low, high, low, and high, right? It looks like a lot of pivoting motions, right? So I'm pivoting and pivoting. So every time I pivot towards you, I'm probably going to dig my knee into you. Right? I'm going to dig any body part, at least one body part. So when I do that, you get a bit off balance, right? Your base is not stable. You can be taken down or they can strike. So the disarms would be as you're striking, you want to get that, you can get that disarm. So we don't really go out of the way to get the disarm. We do it through the strike. So for example, if we're doing our Realismo stuff, then we switch to our more. So that's a lot of fun where you can see the switching. So that's mainly, the weapon stuff. And of course we have Dos Manos from Realismo, which Master Henri doesn't teach too much. He does if you ask him, right? So a lot of stuff you won't really know RK has until you ask Master Henri. So yeah, so the Dos Manos, I don't really have a longer stick here with me, but it's usually, he tries to hide it, right? So you can't really see it. So you can't see it. So if you can't see the tip, right, it's harder to see that it's coming. So you only see when it's coming when it's closer. So Dos Manos is like around a 43-inch length weapon. And you really want to, it's like you want two hands on it. So it's a lot of motion, footwork, back and forth, where you're going, where you're going forward, switch to the side, and come back. So you don't see the stick until it's really close to you because it's traveling all the way from behind. So that's mainly the basics Master Henri teaches for Dos Manos. Of course, other stuff where we come back and forth. So there's a lot of stuff with RK. So it's kind of hard to show everything right now. So one more thing I want to discuss, a few more things. Like we have the knife aspect as well, where we do a lot of, where Master Henri teaches this a lot. Not a lot, but when he demonstrates this, it's really cool to watch. So, like try to parry or defend yourself. He goes really slow. As he's going really slow, as he tries to parry it, he's going to hit your hand that's coming at it. Right? So he's going really slow, doesn't matter. Boop, he got you. Going really slow, and boop, he got you. Right? So he's really coming in as baiting. Right? So if you're in like a dueling situation. So or you try to grab his arm, he grabs your arms, and he starts stabbing you with the sticks. With the knife. So it's really a lot of fun stuff there. Of course, a lot of the principles with the stick we translate with our knife as well, which is the Realismo side where there's a lot of tapping, right? Where it's a lot of right where you tap and pass and parry, right? So it's hard to demonstrate that without a partner. And then the empty scan stuff, where a lot of people really like this when they see this on YouTube or other online platforms, where it's basically a lot of trapping is going on. So if I have my hands here together, one of it is like, so there's some stuff that looks like dances and all that. So, or some look like the Macarena. So from here, he puts his hand here, flips, and puts his hand together. Right? So right hand, flip, hand together, left hand, right hand, flip, hands together. So this is basically his Sinawala, right? With the empty hand, you're trapping it here. If you don't have the trap, the punch comes in right away to cover that line. Right? So here, so he grabs. So he has this motion as well. So after doing that Sinawala grab, and now so you're always going back to the part getting you off balance. So that's a big aspect of more as well. So it's really present in our case. So there's a lot of those movements you'll see him teach. It's really fun. So if you guys have the chance to train with Master Henri, try asking about the sabak and stuff, because he doesn't really do that much with the group class. So yeah, Tom?
Wow, that
So
was a lot of
playing
pages.
So I try to show as many as I can in such a short amount of time. So everyone, yeah. So it's not the best way to demonstrate RK because I can't really get into detail, but hopefully that at least gives you insight. Really wants you to explore more of that because it's really great system.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, at least you managed to show the differences between the base line of RK. So,
Because
which is,
then you can combine them.
yeah, which is actually, you can see the contrast between
Yeah,
the three, but the moment you try to mix it up, basically, I think it basically allows you to flow more as well.
yes, yeah. So you'll see that in a lot of sparring as well. You see where they favor such a wide stance, so that's really a lot of the Moro.
Yeah,
And then you see a lot of upright stance.
yeah,
So it really depends also on their height, right, and or body structure, right. But some of the taller guys probably go more upright because Tatang was around Master Henry's height, right, which is like
Have
close
you
to
tried?
6.
I know that you don't basically. Do you do anyo? You don't do anyos, do you?
Do Anyo, we
Do
don't
it.
really
You don't.
we do that. Like Master Henry's, that's where a lot of the curriculum's from. Like for example, our 12 strikes. Like Gurugani apparently took that from one of Master Henry's anyos, right? One of his dances in like
Okay.
so he took it from there. That's where our 12 strikes came from, which is actually really fun. So we do have that aspect. Like for example, like let me send it real quick so I can't really fit.
Shall I look myself again?
No, that's okay. So here. So for example, our empty hand, we have this motion.
It's like dancing magnetic.
Right. So basically, like the Sabakan, there's a lot of videos online about that, where he's just dancing, and then someone comes in with a strike, and then he just keeps doing the dance, and then you can really see the application. So no matter what part he is on that movement, he's going to apply that. For example, if I'm doing this movement, right, it's like a pass and a strike.
Yeah.
This movement is I'm doing that, right? So, and here it's like you're chipping, right? So there's that. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of content. Like in the beginning, you think, oh, RK just has 10 levels, or when you see the curriculum, it looks very short. But there's stuff that's not in there yet.
Okay,
all right. So much stuff, which in the beginning, I'm like, this curriculum is small. I might not learn enough, which is not bad. It's not bad to have a small curriculum.
Yeah.
It's just a vast of knowledge. Because the reason why I like curriculums with a lot of stuff in it, so you can really find what works for you, right? You can experiment, and so I think it's good for beginners, right? Or depends on your goals. I think it's on your goals. Like if you're trying to train someone who doesn't have a lot of time to train, the small curriculum would be great. So they learn, right? They get to reach their goal faster. So it really depends on the practitioner, but I find RK like a great gateway to FMA. In my opinion, I would if I pick up the first FMA system to learn would be RK, because I did dabble a lot in a few other systems, and like for example PTD, which and FCS, dabbled a bit in that, and a bunch of other stuff. And so also Gurugani is really likes dabbling in other systems. He really wants to, in order to make his fighting work, he really wants to see what's out there. So he really
that's how you should really do it, especially if you're into self-defense as well and combatives.
Especially if you want to teach, right? You really want to know what the best training methods, because for everyone they learn differently, right? So you want to build up your arsenal. So like for example in Luneta, or if every time there's a new group or something, Gurugani would visit them and learn from them and see. Like he goes there like he tells himself like he doesn't know any FMA. He's going there fresh.
Yeah.
Even though there's some similarities, which is not a bad thing to have similarities, it's easier for him to pick up those key differences. Even those very small differences So that's the important part, which he really tries to really like experiment, right? He went and interviewed the last. He said he was like more like a scientist, where
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
dabbles in a lot of stuff. And so
yeah.
yeah, it's a really great mindset to have, especially if you have a great core system in your organization or association. It really
Mm,
shows in the newer guys as well. So
okay.
I'm really happy to be part of RK.
All right. Okay. I've got two questions for you here. I mean, one is related to the other. What part of the system hooked you as a student with RRK? Okay, and also what aspects of Mang Henry hooked you as a student and made an impression on you? So first, what part of RRK hooked you as a student, and then the other one, Mang Henry or GM Henry?
What hooked me as a student was it doesn't really matter what your goals are. I think it will be fulfilled by RK because if you're there for art, you're definitely going to get a lot of that. If you're there for combatives, your needs are going to be fulfilled no matter what your goal is. So I think anyone who wants to learn RK, so because in the beginning I wanted to learn some nice stuff. You have that. If you want to learn some stick stuff, you want to play it, you have that. Right? Of course, there's if we're talking about base principles and other stuff, it's all there. But for some weapons that we don't teach, but I think Master Henry also does where he has nunchucks in one hand and a stick in one hand as well. That's really fun to watch. So we have a lot of stuff, which is I think everyone's needs to be met. So my needs were met in the beginning, and they showed me that if you want to take it to the next level, right, you need to expand your vision. You need to expand your goals.
Yes, exactly. Yep,
Right?
that's true.
If this is your goal can be better achieved if you add a bit more other goals, right? So they translates, goes hand in hand. So how they guide you is and how the Archie community is. We're like a family, and yeah, it's really great. It's great. It's a
Ah,
great group to be part of. So I'm really happy about being part of it, especially further going to the next question, right? Master Henry Spera. Right, the first time you see him, he's like very unique guy, and right, unique demeanor, and yeah, he's just so generous as well. There's a lot of kids in Neta, he was Futu and other stuff. So it's very great guy, very generous guy. He also brings us some food as well, like brings some suman a lot of times to training
wow.
where we're training, like we're towards when we're getting towards lunchtime in the afternoon, then we're all getting exhausted because we were doing we did 100 swings on one strike, for example. So, and then we have some suman and we're like energized after. And then what you can see some guys, they took a bite and they're like, let's go. And then so there's
Ah,
a big inside joke
won't
where
be
they,
energized by suman. It's a power
yeah,
food.
really. So it's a great group to be part of. And then Master Henry, yeah. So what really impressed me about Master Henry, aside from his character, right? His just the way he moves. So especially the mix of the systems, I vastly demonstrated. I feel like I didn't do
Yeah.
enough justice to that because there's not enough time to in detail. But the way he moves, because if you look at Illustrismo, a lot of people compare Master Henry and Tatang because they have similar build and stuff like that. But to him, Tatang taught more movement than trying to be 1:1, but they look pretty similar. Apparently, what I've heard for people that have seen him in the late '80s and early '90s training with Tata,
Yeah.
where so they look like a lot of people say they look like father and son, right? So the
Oh, okay.
movement, right? But they're actually really
It's
close
like a carbon
friends.
copy.
Right? So they look pretty similar. And then until they started training with Mang Andy, right? You see that where it's the wide stance and very low, right? The high and low. So he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look exactly like Mang Andy because he has a lot longer limbs. It looks a bit. But if you look at Master Henry by himself without looking at Mang Andy, right, you see, well, it's so fluid and all that. But if you look at Mang Andy, it's just a different world because that system was made for Mang Andy. But just the way Master Henry moves changes levels, all the angles, throwing his empty hands, right? Just the way he moves, and just some of the stuff he does is you don't know. I'm not sure. Like, can you do it? Like, I'm not sure I can apply that, right? But he can, and then but you really try to. So, and it's of course. Again, we're back to that aspect. What works for you, right? And now going back to that aspect as well. Not only what works for you, how much time did you spend working on that one move?
Yeah.
Compared to Master Henry, which he just trains like crazy. Master Henry's really strong, like especially in his 60s right now, late 60s, right? So he's really strong. So if you've seen his hands as well, he has huge hands. So no matter where he grabs your hand, he's always grabbing the right spot because he's such a big hand. So and also trains this. I think it's this bone here.
Yeah.
Train this bone, so it's really hard. So you punch it, it just goes like that, and your knuckle feels like a hit punch. So yeah, and a lot of times where it's of course not always easy to hit someone's hand directly like that. So he does a palm stop the hand, and bam, and like, oh god, like what did I punch? Right? So and there's a lot of impressive stuff, like it just comes out of nowhere, and like, I wish I could do that too, or I wish. Right, I really.
Yeah, you've got more years to get to that, Josh.
Of course. And there's a lot of RK instructors out there, and there's a lot of dipping to the table. So I'm really happy about that. So there's a lot of people we can learn his system from, which is really great. So we can really see the translations of his system.
Right? Okay.
It's also good to learn the system from other sources. But what really impressed me from Master Henry is just the way he moves. You just feel it, right? If you can just feel the way he moves, you understand what I mean. Because it's just hard to see on video. Like it's just something else, right? You could see like, oh, that looks cool on video, but to feel it, like you're suddenly looking, oh, where are you? Or some stuff he does not pull off because, like, he has this one technique after he does this in a lot of motion. He grabs your arm, and then he's behind you. He grabs you by your ankles. He puts his head by your butt, and he pulls your ankles and pushes with his head. And if he does that, you're gonna face plant on the floor because he's pulling your feet. Like it's like pulling a rug right underneath you.
Yeah.
So he does not do that. Like he demonstrates it, but doesn't do the full motion.
Yeah.
We're on like concrete, right? We're
exactly.
Floors in Luneta. But if you can just feel like he parries you, then suddenly he's behind you, like. Right, you're surprised, and then he always wants to put one part of his body, like Bitlov or more best training he had, was he always wants to put one part of his body pushing against you to get you off balance.
Yeah,
and you don't know which part of the body that's coming. That's the thing. If his hands are tied up, if you're grappling, his head's pushing, elbow, shoulder, right? He was talking about trapping, right? Any crease you have in the body, he's going to use to trap. So.
Yeah.
He has just so many weapons, so many angles. That's what really and the drills he created too for RK, not just the stuff he learned. They're really fun to do, like our sombradas. Our sombradas are like very fun, right? It's really short forms. We had like 14 of them he made, and like the last two I think were like there's 10 moves instead of 6. But those are a lot of our applications there as well. So and it's just really fun. It's just so fun to be around, and just fun training, really fun training, and really look up to Master Henry.
Yeah, well, hopefully when I visit again the Philippines, I'll be able to train with Bang Henry because normally I just visit them in Luneta, so yeah.
you gotta feel that technique where you just on the end behind you, both ankles. That's just really scary.
Definitely. I'm gonna go to Henry. Mang Henry?
Ask specifically.
Yeah, this is the specific technique Joseph is talking about.
It's scary. It's like my heart was racing so fast after. I'm like, oh god. Because with Master Henry, you don't know because when he does the move, it's like you can sometimes feel the intention, but he doesn't go all the way. So you don't know if he's actually going to do it. So that's the part. Like, oh god. So yeah, that's really fun.
Okay. So do our RK students learn only the amalgamated system developed by GM Henry, or can they learn the base systems as a standalone? I don't know if you. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I already answered this, but just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
touch up on that again, you can learn the base systems. Just speak to Master Henry, right, or some of the arcade instructors. If you want us to separate the art a bit, right, the systems, and learn the basis first, because Master Henry doesn't always teach, or the arcade instructor doesn't always teach the individual. Most of the time, it's together already, right? Just if you have depending on your goals.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Really depends on your goals. What your goals are, because again, it's more of the one-on-one. It's going to be more problem solving, right? Most of the time, depending if your goals is fight, you want more problem solving, right? If you want the art, maybe you want to do like, oh, how do you move like this, right? So it really depends on your
Mm-hmm.
goals. But yes, you can learn that, but not all RK instructors offer that,
Okay.
right? So it really depends. Really depends. So, but you
Oh,
can. Yes, the answer is yes, you can.
yeah. As long as it's with Master Henry, with GM Henry.
And with the other instructors are as well, but it really,
Okay.
again, depends on
All
goals.
right.
Right. So,
Okay. Cool. Um, let's read through some comments here. Or okay. Yeah, Brett has been had some comments. Yeah, he said it's great that you stood up and expressed yourself and understanding. I love that in an individual.
all right, thank you.
I hope to hear or to hang out.
Right, whenever you're in the Philippines, Brett, send me a message. You want to train, you want to spar, all right, you want anything, send me a message.
That's good. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So,
So
is there any other questions? Or
I no. I think you have covered most of it now. Oh, okay. There's one more question from Elric here. How does RRK deal with the dichotomy of being a modern, evolving system while preserving the source systems?
so, yeah, I think I tackled a bit of this question during the entire interview, but just get back a bit of that. All right, if we go back into the traditional way of teaching was problem solving, right? One-on-one
Yeah.
training, not really group. So since it was like that, you can't really teach group, right? So that's why we added the curriculum, right? But how do we maintain the traditional way of teaching, right? As I mentioned, we sometimes have a group, and then we have one on the side, right? Something like that. But the like I think what Elric trying to get at was mainly the flavor, the essence of
Okay.
the traditional, right? I think that's what he's going for. How you maintain it. Because what is that really? It's mainly the way you fight, right? You want to fight. You want the guys attacking you, right? Because back then was where Master Henry started was 80s, right? 80s, and then violence was a bit different that time,
Mm.
right? Violence was more present, and not only that, it was a different kind of violence. So if you want to, how we adapt it, if we're teaching combat, it's like Gurgani likes to teach reflex based first, like we're just reacting, just
Yeah, it's like a
protecting
flinch.
someone without attacking it. Because if you're teaching someone new, especially this day and age, they're also scared to hurt the training partner, right? They want to be
Yes, they do.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a certain structure now, right? Not everyone follows that structure, but the great thing about our curriculum is we cannot take away anything from our curriculum. We can always add.
Add. Yeah.
So adding is fine because a lot of our instructors, practitioners have experience in different systems or different martial arts, which is great.
Mm.
Right? The more experiences you have, the more you have in your arsenal. right?
Yeah,
But we
that's
cannot
good.
take away, we can only add. So that's a big understanding.
Okay.
So that's you really want to keep, if you want to, right? The traditional thing is, or sorry, the old flavor is the way they move, how they solve a certain problem. So if we just take that and try to incorporate that problem solving aspect, like for example, the more or best will solve it this way,
Mm.
right? The
Mm.
system will solve it this way. So that's
Mm.
how I look at it, where I'm trying to solve it in that, and with those principles, right? You can always add principles, but if you want that traditional, that essence or flavor from before, try to incorporate, right? Use their base to problem solve. Right? It's
Yeah.
basically like using that formula or that equation to problem solve, and adding in a sprinkle of your formula, right, to modernize it. Right? So that's basically how I
Okay.
believe RK will modernize it. So
Wow. It looks like I would say in a nutshell, RRK is like a living
it's like an incubator,
FMA.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're incubating a bunch of different experiences, a bunch of different stuff with the base systems, right? You're just piling stuff on, right? And the base systems and art and Master Henry's experiences, right? It's a big incubator where we're just trying to grow together.
Mm. Mm. That's true. That's
So
nice.
that's what's like that's is my interpretation of
Yeah.
architect. Or some others will say something else, and I'm sure they'll be close to around those lines. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that's how I would interpret it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so back a bit to RK, our group in Makati, real quick, would be RK Makati. There's RK Luneta. There used to be RK Pasig. There's I think Nevada's going to start up again. I think we have Spain as well, Italy. There's Hong Kong. So we have a few RK out there, some training groups.
Who's your rep in Spain?
Spain. I'll send that to you later. I think I have a list. I don't remember all the names because yeah, I don't remember all the names. But Gurgani did a seminar the other year in Spain as well, just to brush up
Oh, is that
there.
might be Norway?
I think yeah, you probably know it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
someone with a
Norway.
good. I'm not really great with names. Yeah,
Norway,
but
Norway,
someone with
Norway Navarro, I think, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think he does like KI as well. So
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's Norway. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, there's we're starting to really branch out. We also have our online training, which our online training, which is not like live training. It's more like the videos, and you send a video back and all that. So it's really a lot of great content there as well. And
Okay.
maybe in the future we'll get more to live, but yeah, the RK in general. But my group mainly in RK Makali, which I call Elephant Kali, uh, is it does offer online. So if anyone wants to see more of RK, let me know. And also, I really have a lot of fun right now with the kids class. I made them do a mock exam recently. The kids are so cute. They're really moving really well, and it's really strange, like just teaching online where you don't seeing how people. Some people progress really fast, but you can't really be hands-on. You can't correct some details, which
Mm-hmm.
is a bit annoying, but really fun. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, so if I mean, don't hesitate to put the details of your online classes and the for in an FMA discussion, at least
yeah,
for people to be able to see uh, where to go, where to how to find you, even online. Okay, besides face-to-face training. Yep. There's one more comment here, but from Brett. Nothing exists that has not been before, yet you must evolve to a level and have a toolbox that gives the freedom of self-expression. Yeah, adding to your toolbox is not as good as sparse toolbox. that can accomplish better. It is chipping away that brings you a truth. Great comment from Brett. Thank you, Brett. That's nice. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Well said. Okay. So I think we don't have any more questions. Yeah. Yeah. This is more of like a standard question that we ask at the end of the interview. Okay, or not really more of a question, but what message can you give to the FMA community?
FMA community, expand your goals, because right. So expand your goals, because that's what really changed my view of FMA. Like, try to dabble, right? Try to experience different FMA systems. Try to understand the other practitioners' goals. I think that really helps, right? And even though if you don't like teaching, I think just try to teach, because I feel like that's a great way to learn, right? Because you need to learn how to explain it, so you have to understand it more. So it's a great learning method, and like that, just at the end of the day, have fun with it, right? Have fun with FMA. There's so much out there. There's so much, there's great people doing FMA. Enjoy the community, be part of it, and right, try if you could contribute to the community, all means go ahead. We're a fun bunch, right? I know there's a lot of discourse, but just look past that and let's have a great time.
Yeah, well done. Well said. Well said. Okay, right. So once again, thank you for being our guest, and hopefully next time you'll manage to bring Jim Henry and Guru Gani.
I'm really excited for you guys to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, and good luck to you, man. And hope to see you, meet you face to face when I visit the Philippines. Hopefully next year.
All right, and all right, Tom. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dean as well, and thank you very much to Brett and everyone else. Brett, and everyone else who commented and asked questions. Elric as well.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for joining me. If any questions, you can always send me a message on Facebook, on my website. I'll put it in the comments, or on whatever social platform. All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Guru Jozef of Rapido, Realismo, Cali. I hope you liked the interview. And once again, I would like to remind you, on the 11th of November, our moderator, Guru Brian Rodriguez, is going to have a special episode for the veterans. And also, we have started a raffle for December, or the raffle for December have already started. We have donations in forms of lessons, training equipment, which Dean has already posted, and the ticket is $5, okay, each. So please support this raffle. The proceeds will go to helping an elected charity in the Philippines. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your weekend. Guru Tom Peña signing off.